This is a 1-point decision. Just so you know that, and everyone else knows it. 1 point.
To live on, Dorian Haywood! Hi guys, welcome back with the Masters Olympia 2025 Men's Open Bodybuilding complete lineup result of 18 contestants. So let's dive into it. From South Korea, Jung-Soo Park was unable to crack top 15. His midsection was not completely flat. Other than that, he brought a decent package. One of the oldest bodybuilder in the lineup, 58 years old, Billy Bogue from USA, was also unable to crack top 15, but he has brought a very incredible package for his age. Daniel Hughes had to settle outside the top 15. Seemingly he tried to bring a bigger version in his Masters Olympia debut and he sacrificed his conditioning. Otherwise in his previous shows he was in a very sharp conditioning. Another bodybuilder from South Korea, Young Bum Kim, has taken last place in the contest. He was not conditioned enough, but he had impressive obliques and very symmetrical abdominal muscles. Alexander Basidin has made his debut in the Masters Olympia with 14th place. 44 years old Alexander brought a sheer amount of size. He was sharp and had impressive vascularity. He did compete in Chicago Pro 3 weeks before, and you can see in the comparison, in Chicago Pro he seems to have more muscle density in the back shots. But actually this is very poor stage lighting and backdrop selection in the Masters Olympia, that this seriously hindered the visibility of the athlete's muscle details and conditioning. From Poland, Mario Stomchuk has brought a very balanced physique. He finished taking 13th place in the event. 49 years old Kenneth Jackson has brought again a very outstanding package in Masters Olympia this year. He had tremendous details and muscle separation in the back shots. Before the Masters Olympia this year, he was expected to be in the first call out by many, but he dropped down to the 5th place. In the previous Masters Olympia, he took 5th place. All the way from Brazil, Marcelo Pedro has made his debut in the Masters Olympia. He showcased tremendous size and very sharp conditioning, but he had to settle for 11th place only in the contest. But if we compare him with 9th place finisher Fred Smalls, Marcelo was undeniably dominant from size standpoint. He was sharper and harder. His midsection was completely flat. There was no issue with the center of his physique. Whereas Fred Small had prominent distension of the midsection and he had very visible pec tear. And from my standpoint, these shortcomings are massive distractions in his physique. So Marcelo definitely should have been higher than just 11th place. Whereas another Brazilian in the lineup, 56 years old, Lumbachista, has been awarded with 10th place. Shape-wise and size-wise, he was really incredible. And it's truly inspiring to see such a high level of physiques at this age. But compared to Marcelo, he was not equally conditioned. Especially from lower half, he did not have enough sharpness and details. This time Fred Smalls had to settle for 9th place. In his previous Masters Olympia, he was at 4th place. His midsection has been a limiting factor and the main shortcoming of his physique throughout his entire career. But he is 50 years old and he still has amazing teardrops, which are probably the most standout body part of his physique. 8th place finisher Walter Martin has showcased a very well-defined, very balanced physique. He has very quality muscle mass and sharp conditioning with cross striations. I think he's 49 years old and he's still very competitive, especially his legs. I do not see any muscle atrophy there. He still has massive quads. He's a cancer survivor who has gone through multiple serious injuries and surgeries. yet he is still competing with full potential with incredible determination, which I find truly inspiring. His resilience and dedication are highly admirable. All the way from Argentina, Hernan Tabaracci has taken 7th place in the contest. He was very sharp from front to back. His midsection was completely flat. Also, he was very strong in the back shots. He has showcased very well built, well-defined Christmas tree, glutes and hamstrings. From Czech Republic, Salawi Badnar has taken 6th place again in the Masters Olympia. He was in the first call-out aiming to crack top 5, but finishing at 6th place is still an outstanding result for 45 years old Czech athlete. Ray Short has managed to crack top 5. Maybe he was not as hard and shredded as some of the other contestants, but he had sheer amount of mass. He brought very full and round physique, and I think arguably he had the biggest legs on stage. Todd Witting has managed to defeat Ray Short and he secured his 4th place. I think size-wise and shape-wise, he was very impressive and his conditioning was dialed in. Especially in the back shots, he showcased phenomenal details. So the top 3 results received heavy backlash from bodybuilding fans and experts, raising serious questions about the judges' credibility. As the winner of the Masters Olympia, Dorian Haywood was at 3rd place with 14 points during prejudging. But in the finals, the judges had him beating Domenico and Phil by a decisive margin. So Domenico Intermaggio had to settle for 3rd place in Masters Olympia 2025. Whereas Phil Clahar ended up taking 2nd place in the contest. And Dorian Haywood edged out Phil by just 1 point difference. If we compare top 3 contestants, so without being biased, I think Domenico Intermaggio should have won. He was the most complete. His physique displayed least number of weaknesses compared to Phil and Dorian. I think this is hard to deny that he had the most impressive symmetry, balanced proportions, and much better flow in the comparison with Phil and Dorian. Dorian does not have very shapely physique. His V-taper is not really prominent. Whereas Phil's main shortcoming is the center of his physique. His midsection had some distension, which was the major distraction in his physique. And his hamstrings are also his weak point. Whereas Dorian had size advantage and Phil had superior muscle maturity. I honestly think this was a very close fight between top 3 and no one was a clear winner. Dorian had sheer amount of muscle mass, whereas Domenico was very balanced from top to bottom. He had very well defined and tight midsection. Overall, he had very sharp details, but compared to the other two, he was lacking some muscle density in the back shots. And Phil had insane muscle maturity, but he was not really balanced. And his midsection was a big distraction. If we see from size, muscle fullness and muscle density standpoint, so Dorian deserved to win. But if we see the combination of everything, size, shape, aesthetics, balance and conditioning, so in my opinion, Domenico should have won. From my standpoint, Phil did not have very balanced, very proportional physique. But if we give priority to the muscle maturity and deep muscle separation, so Phil could have been the last man standing on stage. Lastly, I would like to say Phil was the oldest contender in the top 3, but he gave a very tough time to relatively younger bodybuilders, Dorian and Domenico. So Phil commands my utmost respect. And massive congratulations to Dorian Haywood for winning his first ever Masters Olympia. Share your opinion guys, who did you have winning the show? So that's all guys, thanks for watching and stay tuned for more updates.